Hello, my name is Mohinja Dige. So we're going to work on major scales, and I'm sure you've heard of do re mi fa sol la ti do. You've heard about it, or maybe you've heard people asking, "Okay, how do I go about this?" Maybe you can play in maybe your favorite key, or you're planning to advance. You're planning to advance, so this video will actually be helpful. And the first thing we're going to look at is how do we go about it before even playing the piano. So rule number one, grab a book and we start. You can pause the video and get a book, then we continue. The first thing is scales. In scales, they actually, I think it's a million scales, but there's so many. There's so many. But we're going to work on a few of them, which will be helpful and will actually be of great help. So we're going to talk about, we're going to look into do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So I don't know if maybe I can change my camera position. So the first thing we look at is major scales. Write them down, major scales. Major scales. So you look at that and we have, there are actually 8. So it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You've heard of that. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So people keep asking, okay, how do I go about this? Your do is always your number one, then re number 2. Sometimes maybe you've had, maybe I know you've had maybe musicians talking about that's chord 4, that's chord 6, talking about that. So this is what they use. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So that's how it's written from number 1 to 8. So I want us to look into one thing, very important thing. How do you play do to re, re to mi to fa? You know that this is called intervals. Intervals, the distance from one note to another. So do to re, it's a tone. What's a tone? It's a whole step. We're going to define whole steps and half steps after this. Let's just write. Re to mi is a tone, or maybe a whole step. You can call it a whole step. Mi to fa is a half step, which is also a semitone. Fa to so is a whole step or a tone. So to la is a, you can write this down, then I'll be explaining how to go about it. So to la is a whole step as well, which is also a tone. La to ti, it's a tone. Ti to do is a semitone or a half step, right? So with that in mind, the other thing we're going to look at is how do we go about this? Now we have everything. How do we go about it? Let me explain. So the distance from C, I'm sure you know how to name the keys. If you don't know, you can drop and I'll support you. I'll help you in getting them. It's so easy, very, very easy. From C to C sharp is a semitone. From C to the nearest. Okay, after this series, we'll be doing chromatic scales, which will now be explaining how to name the keys and how to go about, like, what chromatic scales are there, how many are they, and how to go about them. So this, from C to C sharp, is a half step, which we call the semitone. From C to D is a whole step, which is also a tone. So we've just explained that from do to re. Whoa. So assuming we're playing on C, assuming we're playing on C, and then from C to D is a whole step, which is Do to Re is a whole step, Re to Mi is a whole step, Mi to Fa is a half step, Fa to So is a whole step. I hope you had written them down. So to La is a whole step, La to Ti is a whole step, Ti to Do is a half step. Well, we can do it together, right? So do to re is a whole step, re to mi is a whole step, mi to fa is a half step, fa to so whole step, so to la whole step, la to ti whole step, ti to do is a half step. With that in mind, I think the only thing you need now is to figure out, okay, how do we go about this? Now I have the skill. You can do it in all the keys and it will be easier for you. Once you learn on C, C sharp, D, once you start practicing in every key, then it automatically becomes easier for you. Never stop doing it. So after this, we're going to work on fingering. How do we go about our fingering? Like, how do we go about fingering? Of course, you understand what I mean by fingering. There's no way for you to play professionally. The rule number one, okay, from my teacher, rule number one was you must get your fingering correct. For the sake of your voicing, for the sake of everything that you do, you must get your fingering right. So we go back to a book where we had written, okay, where is this? Where we had written, oh yeah, here it is. We had written, sorry, I have to keep moving my camera. Do, sorry, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, la. Well, we only have 5 fingers, like on your right hand and on your left hand. But now we need to figure out how do we go about this. This is finger 1, this is finger 2, this is finger 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Get me? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So with that, having written do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, on your left hand, we start with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then 3, 2, 1. Don't forget that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Right hand, we're using 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I can play it for you. Left hand is 5, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Right hand, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So once you're able to do that in ascending, then you can do it in descending, and that becomes easier for all of us. So that's all about major scales. We're not yet done. We've just started. So in case you have any question, in case you need any help, in case you want any help, we're here to support you. Okay, thank you and bye. See you in the next series.